let's open up with the big breaking news, folks. Now, look, I know that there's going to be some people in the chat that are, like the kids like to say, over it when it comes to the Insomniac Marvel connection. Unfortunately for Insomniac Games, it does seem like they are going to be in the salt mines of Marvel. If you are a fan like I am, this is wonderful news. If you are waiting for, something different that we know that they can do, it's unlikely. I don't know, based on the sales numbers, if we're ever going to get a new Ratchet and Clank. I got to be honest with you, I think that's awful. Ratchet and Clank is a phenomenal series. It's a fantastic platformer, and both iterations on the PS4 and then the PS5 ripped apart. They're gorgeous. They're just phenomenal games. But listen, it is what it is. The way it appears from based on, if you got to remember, one of the most devastating things I think happened to that studio a couple of years ago was that massive internal leak that when they got hacked. All of their plans, including actual gameplay and actual, the game was out there. So people are playing Wolverine right now on PC. Well, when that happened, I think it set back the company a couple of years. How many years, I don't know. But Wolverine was supposed to be out already. And unfortunately, because of what happened, they got to change the code. They can't just use the same code. I mean, you can't do that. So they had to go and fix it. And a lot of stuff got gummed up. One of which was, of course, the rumored Venom. Venom apparently is happening next year. Venom apparently started out as DLC, and that DLC was supposed to come to Spider-Man 2. The leak happened, it got delayed, and eventually they decided that rather than make it DLC, and there was no DLC for Spider-Man 2 like there was for Spider-Man 2018, again, they didn't announce it yet, but the rumor is that Venom is happening next year, and it's going to be a Miles Morales level release. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Again, I don't make any apologies for being such a fan of Insomniac. Again, Ted Price ran that company phenomenally for years. He's obviously now retired. They're under new leadership. The Venom game that's supposed to be coming out next year apparently is the Lethal Protector part of Venom's Marvel history. If anyone has read the comics, the Lethal Protector run was dope. I don't know if they're going to follow it exactly because, unfortunately, they've changed a lot. Like, Venom is not Eddie Brock. Venom is, I don't want to spoil it for you if anybody didn't play, so I'm not going to spoil it, but it's, I'm very excited for it. But listen, you know what? Before we actually read the report coming, and it's an exclusive report, by the way, of Insider Gaming. Hey, Kay Asante, what's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Good day, good evening, all. Yeah, man, I'm sorry I'm late. I've been running around like a chicken with his head cut off. I got some interesting things afoot. Maybe tomorrow y'all will find out what interesting things I'm talking about. We'll talk about it later, Boom. It's a life thing. It's a beautiful thing. I'm preparing some things. I'm being a little evil.
Nice. Nice.
So, yes, I'm sorry I'm late, but I'm here. What's going on, everybody?
Well, you know what? We are getting into the breaking news that comes the way of InsiderGaming.com. It is, of course, written by Tom Henderson. It was published earlier this afternoon. And the title of his article says, exclusive. Insomniac Games Wolverine is likely to be at PlayStation's next state of play. Now, nice. Look, we all have to admit, and I'm sure that the PlayStation community will, believe it or not, actually rally behind me what I'm about to say. I'm a PlayStation fan. I don't like PlayStation. I don't like Sony as a company because they nickel and dime the F out of you, and I can't stand it. They do some really egregious things. People defend it, and it's gross. But quite frankly, you've heard me for years talk about how much I love their single-player, story-driven games. I like their games, and that's why I have a PlayStation 5. Well, I'm also a Marvel stan. I love the MCU. I love Marvel Comics. I still read books from time to time. I don't buy as many as I used to. I'm a big fan of Marvel, the MCU. Kevin Feige run MCU. Now, granted, it's fallen on some hard times in the last couple of two phases, but it does seem like they're back. Eyes of Wakanda, phenomenal.
You watched that? It was amazing. It was amazing.
It's ridiculously good. It's ridiculously good. If you missed it, and again, it came out like a whimper. Like it wasn't even a lot of fanfare for it. It's only a couple episodes.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. Ironheart came out. Obviously, everyone's, oh my goodness, a woman Iron Man. Folks, that's from the comics. Riri Williams is a comic book hero. That she's I'm sorry that she exists. Obviously, I don't know if anyone saw it, the trailer for Marvel Zombies coming out on the 24th, the day before my birthday. I'm getting an early birthday gift. Yes, it looks freaking incredible, and it's rated R, which is just ridiculous. But getting back to the story at hand, if there is one complaint that many PlayStation gamers, including myself, by the way, have had for Sony's shows or lack thereof their shows, has been the missing aspect of first party. Their state of plays, quite frankly, have been horrendous. They're all third party. You get it's just not been good, folks. Most PlayStation purists, meaning that people that actually have a PlayStation to play first party games, have been disappointed, and I have been there too. Ghost of Yotai releases in less than a month. Very excited for that. That's a day one buy for me. Baby steps, not so much. But for obvious reasons, it just looks whack. Sorry. But this story is exciting because, Insomniac Games, after the leak a couple of years ago, went radio silent, and for good reason. Their company was in disarray, and all of their plans were halted. Everything got delayed by at least a year. It could be even more than that. The rumors, as for what they are currently doing, is 2026 is Venom the Lethal Protector. And then in 2027, again, folks, rumor, you are going to get Wolverine. I am very excited for it. But I will say, I hope they took the internet criticism seriously, because some of the things that I saw that leaked were cool. A lot of the climbing of the walls and the Spider-Man wall running, and that's not the Wolverine I know and love. So I hope that they took what leaked and they went back to the drawing board, and that's why we're not getting it until 2027. But gentlemen, I'm going to read a bit from the article, so folks, bear with me as I do so. According to Tom Henderson, he says, insider gaming sources have revealed that Insomniac Games' Wolverine is ready to be shown off for the first time officially since the 2021 PlayStation Showcase. According to Tom, he says, our sources, who wish to remain anonymous as they couldn't talk about the company plans, PlayStation is currently planning its next State of Play event towards the end of September. Other sources reveal that Insomniac Games Wolverine is almost certainly going to be at the event. And according to the article, it says further, as the production of its next trailer has now been completed, if the game doesn't appear at State of Play when the trailer would undoubtedly be released in the next few months, and he's suggesting that the Game Awards would be the likely next candidate. And of course, that makes perfect sense. It's a Jeff Keighley run show. Obviously, he's in bed with Sony. It's what and it makes sense, right? So if you're gonna have all eyes, I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually hope that it doesn't show up at the end of September. I hope it is the Game Awards, and I say that as a fan. Insomniac Games for me is the crown jewel of PlayStation Studios. And I'm sure people are going to argue with me to say, well, no, they like this one, or you like this one, or she likes this one. That's fine. For me personally, they're not only the workhorse of PlayStation Studios, they're the crown jewel. Hargeet, are you back? So Hargeet, let's get your thoughts on this, because most people have been asking and wanting a first-party game.
Yeah, I mean, they get first-party games. They just get fewer of them, and we're kind of getting a lot on the other side, so it looks kind of bad, right? But I don't know if it's really that far off from what they used to do. But, cool. We've seen this as a trailer. We were all expecting something. We then got the leak, as you mentioned, where this game is kind of on PC available. not legally, I suppose, but it's there. And, so what we saw, at least from what I saw, I was not impressed. I'll just say that. It felt like they kind of took the Spider-Man universe and threw a Wolverine skin on it and said, hey, there's a game. That is not what I expect from Wolverine. And some changes of direction seem to have occurred because some people got maybe fired, and things moved in a different direction. And so what we're, again, it's all rumor, right? What we're hearing is they kind of reconsidered the direction of that game and maybe minorly rebooted to sort of kind of fix up from the impression people gave. Because for me, Wolverine is probably not going to be very similar to a Spider-Man at all, right? I expect a very different thing, at least from what I understand of Wolverine, right? So, and I'm not a comic person. It's just what I've watched in the movies. I don't see Spider-Man and Wolverine being very similar in their tactics and in the way they do things. It's just they're different characters, right? And the trailer they showed was what I expect. Like, he is a brawler, and he will get in your face and do like stuff, right? And so he is not sitting there being the nice guy saving all the people. That's not Wolverine, right? So my expectation of the game was very different, and then I'm like, oh, you're just talking to people and solving things like Spider-Man. I'm not liking this. Like you're clawing your way up on a wall. No, what are you doing? Like, this is crazy. So I think they took that to heart and said, okay, yeah, that's not what we want, especially after all the failures they've had, after all the shutdowns, after all the cancellations. It's like, yeah, this needs to hit. This needs to hit. And so I hope they took that in and said, all right, we got to redo this and do a better, a better game. And maybe this is challenging for them. It's not maybe in their vein, right? Like they've kind of made different types of games. But this really feels like it really should be much more. And I know people are going to the Sony formula. Like, this is a good Sad Dad Walking Simulator type game, because that is what Wolverine really is. Yes. He is a melancholic, I'm woe is me type of person that rages. Like, okay, cool, right? Go do that. That's exactly, this would be perfect in that kind of vein, right? So I hope they take that and say, let's make it more like a God of War. Like, let's go. Like that's what it should be like, right? But at least that's what my expectation was. What I'm seeing, I'm like, this is not what I want. So, yeah. So I hope they do that. Really, I would love that to be like a linear story that just takes you through it. All the emotions go right. Yeah. That kind of feels like what it should be. Yeah, I don't know if people play the Deadpool game, but that
Deadpool, kind of thing, but both obviously times it released.
But obviously not with the humor, obviously not with like the craziness and zaniness of Deadpool, but kind of in that vein. Right, is what you want to have, level after level of get through it, right? And so I don't know. That's kind of what I was expecting, just with maybe a visual uplift, right? It's Sony, so they're gonna push that anyway. We'll see what they do. I'm actually very interested to see what they actually pull off here, right? Insomniac, to your point, is one of their better studios. It's done a lot of work for them this generation. Yep. So I've got to give them their kudos, of course. But I am disappointed with where Sony has kind of made them the Marvel studio and said, yeah, we're not going to do anything else. What we're letting go of your team that was doing the next Ratchet. Like, okay, that kind of sucks, right? You just become Marvel studio. Okay, fair enough. I get it, because they've maybe signed some contracts with Disney and they want to get the money and whatever, fine. But that is kind of disappointing, because I would like them to continue with other things too. Sunset was kind of a weird smash hit that like nobody expected, but it didn't really do as well as it could have, because unfortunately it was on the Xbox One, which was kind of not the preferred platform at the time, for the Xbox One generation. And it would have been great if it got to shine on PlayStation, if they actually allowed a sequel and say, hey, let's remaster the first one, let's do a collection, let's bring it out, let people enjoy that game, right? Let's push it forward. But whatever. So this is all they do. But I really have high hopes that they've took the feedback and said, okay, this is not the direction. This is not what people were expecting. Let's change directions and do the right things, right? So let's hope they've learned that. And that. So I'm going to look forward to this trailer and see what the heck they're talking about. But that's what I'm looking for. Show me the gameplay and don't show me what we saw before, because I am not interested in that at all. I hope this is directionally very different than what we saw released on the PC. Well, not released, but leaked. Illegally hacked and leaked onto PC. And then as far as Venom, yeah, we've been hearing about this, right? This, it was part of the leaks, the roadmap they had. But yeah, it's just been delayed a bit. Fair enough. Coming out next year-ish, I guess. That'll be kind of cool, right? So, and then this will be maybe, from all the speculation we have, a launch title for the next gen PS6, right? Because that potentially could be coming in 27. Right. So, we could have Wolverine as a launch title. Or if it, moves to 28, then, whatever, fine. But it supposedly, right, there's a potential that the PS6 comes out in 2027. This is scheduled for 2027. It could be one of those, like Miles Morales was like a cross-gen game, right? It could be this, Wolverine would be a cross-gen, but it will be a launch title for PlayStation 6. Just keep that, in the back of your heads as well.
That would be freaking awesome, dude.
Which would be awesome. Yeah. Why not? I hope they do a good job with it. Let's let's see where they go with it.
Again, it's one of those things that Insomniac is really good at what they do, right? Not only, and that's the thing I love about Insomniac. Like if you played Spider-Man 2018, and again, folks, I know there's some people that haven't, and I have a theory for what this event happening at the end of September may levy. I'll get to that in a second. So I'm not going to ruin what happens at the end of 2018, because there's Xbox players in this chat right now that have never played it. So I'm not going to ruin it for you. It was a monster-sized, holy shit moment. And I'm like, I can't believe Sony let them do this. Like, I can't believe Marvel let them do it. But the thing about Insomniac is they tell their story of Spider-Man. And I think that is freaking awesome, right? So, you get to Miles Morales. Listen, folks, I'm not going to get into the emotional bond I have with that game. That game hits me in a way that is probably over a lot of people's heads, and that's fine. But something, I'm not going to get into it. I loved Miles Morales. There's so much that I love about that game. I could spend an hour talking about it. I won't do that tonight. Spider-Man 2, I didn't beat. And it wasn't because it wasn't good. It is freaking fantastic. It's just not enough time in a day. Of course, Tony Todd, who is no longer with us, did the lines for Venom. He has supposedly recorded the lines for Lethal Protector. I hope that they honor that man. Obviously, that's Candyman right there. That guy is amazing. And one of his last
for us
works,
gray beards, he'll always be Candyman.
yeah, it's absolutely. Okay, Asante, let's get into this. Again, this is a story that comes away of Insider Gaming, written by our good friend of the show, Tom Henderson. Tom had a lot of things to say in this article, and I'm going to read a little bit more. Tom goes on to say, Insomniac Games Wolverine faced some issues in development following a ransomware attack in December of 2023. During which employee information and a substantial amount of the game footage leaked online. The hack resulted in some changes to the game's plans, but the extent of these changes are currently unknown. Now, he goes on to say, at the time of writing, neither PlayStation nor Insomniac Games has revealed when Wolverine is set to be released, but fingers crossed, an answer awaits us in the coming weeks. The game is currently slated to release exclusively on the PlayStation 5. I mean, again, this is exciting news for people like me, like you, who are fans of Marvel Comics, of the MCU, of Marvel in general. Again, I know Marvel, the MCU specifically, has fallen on some hard times, but obviously they've had some bangers. I thought Fantastic Four was incredible. I thought Thunderbolts was really, really good. I'm looking forward to Doomsday. I'm looking forward to Spider-Man, Brand New Day, which is going to have a lot of villains, including the Punisher and potentially the Hulk, and Doomsday, and obviously Secret War. So if you're a Marvel fan, it's a lot. There's a lot to get excited about. But we're talking about video games, and right now, the place to find Marvel video games is on PlayStation, and Wolverine getting a new trailer. And I gotta say, I think Hargeet really did knock it out of the park, because, like him, as much as I would still buy the game, that's not the kind of Wolverine I want to play, man. Like, I'll say this: when you're playing Spider-Man, at least Spider-Man 2018, and you're flying around and you're helping, people in the streets, like, someone's getting bullied by some gang members, you beat up the gang members. Oh, thank you, Spider-Man. You could do that, 5, 6, 10 times, and you're like, okay, I'm over it. The stolen car, you swing, you screech the car, you flip it over. That's Spider-Man. Obviously, and that's literally Spider-Man in the comics. He's a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He helps the people. But Wolverine is not that guy, man. He really isn't. And I'm actually hoping, and this is, again, I don't know anything, folks. I'm fanboying right about now. I hope that Wolverine has a tone like The Last of Us. I want it to be dreary. I want there to be stakes that are serious. Now, because of the leaks, we learned that Jean Grey was going to be the Mary Jane of the game. And as much as I love Jean, I think she'd be an incredible character to use. That's just another thing that I think they got to remove. Like, the Mary Jane stuff from Spider-Man 2018, the Mary Jane stuff. I mean, she became like an assassin in Spider-Man 2. Like, I get it, women power. I love it. I say yes, but I don't know, man. I don't think Jean she's not a sub character. She is an Omega level freaking mutant, one of the most powerful mutants. She can't be no side piece. She needs to be the real deal. Sorry.
It's like making Storm a side character. That's
hello.
Hilarious.
Which, by the way, I don't know if you saw Halle Berry's tweet.
Yes.
But she was holding a Marvel comic book with her Doctor Doom holding Storm, which means, of course, she's going to be in Doomsday. Yes, please. I'll take that all day long. But you know what?
I will give you slander, though.
Okay.
I didn't like hers. I did not like her as Storm. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. That's fine. We will have that conversation at some point.
Forgive me.
Let's talk Wolverine, because again, unfortunately for Sony, they have been out of sorts for the last couple of years. Their first party output have been barren. And again, shout out to Hargeet for actually talking about how bad it looks, because Xbox has so many games coming out. So it does look like a one-sided affair. Let's get your thoughts on Wolverine and potentially a new trailer showing what could be a new direction for the game.
So first and foremost, I will once again reiterate what you guys said, which was shout out to Tom Henderson. Got a chance to meet Tom Henderson. Very nice dude. He paid for drinks, the whole thing. Very nice dude.
Very
awesome
nice.
Guy. Awesome guy. Wonderful human. So shout out to the great Tom Henderson, who does great work there at Insider Gaming. So as to the leak, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I may or may not know or have seen. We'll move on from that. That's neither here nor there. But what I will say is, I do agree with Hargeet. And there's a part to this puzzle, as far as like, I agree with Hargeet as to like what we saw, what was available to be seen or played, if you had that capability, was not really Wolverine. It was kind of a Spider-Man skin, right? We all know that unfortunately our beloved Insomniac has now been locked into the salt mines of Marvel but that's in a whole nother conversation that I hope one day they can escape from. But what I will say is I have hope here because, like, as BoomStick was saying, like, I'm that quiet ninja in the room. And what I mean by that is every piece of Marvel fare that has gone on, back when you were watching it to back when you stopped watching it, I've kept watching it so you didn't have to. I have seen every single fair. I mean, everything. Everything. It comes out, I watch it. Even the worst of the worst. I am quiet, I zip the lip, and I'm watching it. Right? If you hear me talk about it on social, it means it was excellent. If you don't hear me talk about it, it means I know most people won't like it, but I liked it anyway. I am a Marvel zombie from way back.
There you go.
I say all this to say the Marvel of old, or rather the Disney of old, when this deal was struck, is a different Disney than today.
Yeah.
That Disney could do no wrong when they made this deal way back when. This Disney has something to prove to the people. This Marvel, this MCU has something that they want to get people back on board.
They owe us an apology for what happened in phases 4 and 5. Sorry, I got to be the guy to say it. At
the time, I am imagining at the time when this deal was struck, Feige was like, he had a Mount Rushmore already built for himself, and his face was on all 5 pieces of it. Like, he was just it, right? But today, it's a different conversation. Today, do they still got it? I purport to say they do. As you say, we watched the Fantastic Four, and Fantastic Four was fantastic. I thought it was excellent. More people need to watch it. They'll realize that actually Marvel's back, right? I think it's great. I see you, King Webb. I see you play. He's like, no,
just gonna say that.
Yes. But needless to say, they have something to prove now, and I don't see them letting Disney Sony rather getting away with, well, you all build this thing and we'll see what you do when you're done. They have historically not been the type, right? Disney manages their IPs closely in all aspects. So if they weren't paying attention to what was coming out of Sony, I bet after those leaks, and I bet after some of the fumbles and bumbles they've had with the MCU proper, they are paying close attention to what is coming out now. So if that rumor is true, and I have no reason to deny the great Tom Henderson to say that it's coming out or that they're ready to show it. If that is true, that means Disney has been like, all right, man, let's rein this in. And they've gotten it to a place where it's actually worthy of showing. Why is this important? Because right now we all know, if you've been watching that Marvel stuff, if you've been about that Disney Plus and or the MCU movies life, you know that the X-Men and Wolverine writ large is so close to the silver screen. They're coming out again. This is Marvel trying to put them back out there in a real way. How will they be introduced? What will they look like? How will they be portrayed? All that is in the sauce. So imagine them sitting back and allowing Sony to dictate terms on how you see one of the biggest IPs in that Marvel, in that Wolverine, with Wolverine in that canon. I don't see that happening, right? Back when they made this deal and Spider-Man was hitting on all cylinders, yeah, they know what they're doing. They're fine. After the leak, after a few fumbles here and there, I really think that both Marvel and Sony kind of reframed themselves and went, all right, well, I guess maybe we flew too close to the sun there. Let us come back to center. And if they're showing this thing this year, it means they are ready to go. And that excites me to no end, because, some of us know there's some Marvel movies out there that really, although people love them, they misrepresent Wolverine wildly. He is not 6'5". He's not talking to the kids at school. No, he's not. He is the troll under the stairs that you get scared of because he's going like kill you before talking to you. You know what I'm saying? So to your point, Boom, I'm expecting, let's not get it twisted. They're not doing a rated R version, right? They're going to make it as cromulent, as 4-quadrant as they possibly can, because they need everybody to be at the yard. I get it. But I'm just saying, Wolverine Uncaged Edition is out there. That exists in the world. If you don't know what that is, look it up. It is one of the best Wolverine games ever made. And who was it made by?
The violence in that game is Unbelievable.
And that game was made by a now Microsoft studio. Just putting that out there. So there's that, right? And there's another Wolverine game that came out on the OG Xbox, Weapon X Xbox, like original Xbox. They had a Weapon X version of Wolverine. I don't know if you played that, where you literally came out of the Weapon X tank with the helmet on. You're basically like killing your way out of your
I don't
prison.
even remember that, dude.
Oh, bro, I have them all. I play them frequently. I love those games. Insomniac is so good at what they do. They are excellent. It is so unfortunate that they have been locked behind that wall of Marvel, but I am very confident that if they're out there, they're coming out. Yes, that's the Wolverine Origins, and specifically the Uncaged edition. Don't buy the regular because the regular is trash, but the Uncaged edition, he is ripping fools to shreds, and you're seeing his adamantium. You're seeing him regrow his limbs in real time. You can slow down the video and watch it. It's amazing what they did in that game. But I really, I'm confident that if they're coming out with this thing, that it is good, because honestly, like the build we saw, the leak stuff we saw, I kind of feel like that stuff was early days, and they were trying to test out what the locomotion would be and all of that. There are a lot of iterations of games before they actually end up in your like your console, right? So, like, if nothing else, I take this as Ugly Sonic situation. Remember Ugly Sonic? Everybody came out, they went, ah, right? And then they turned around and they did right by Sonic, right? Hey, so much so that Ugly Sonic is now a thing. He's literally a character in some games. Like, he's just sitting there like, hey, what's up? It's crazy, right?
He did look like a degenerate drunk. I'm not gonna lie.
Right? But similarly in that situation, even though they didn't know that they had created a crazy character, the people let them know it. Once it was known, they sorted it out. And what happened? Sonic thrived. It is now amazing, right?
Yeah.
So until I see it, until they do me wrong, I will say that build was just that. It was an experimental build. They were still working on it. If they are ready to show something, I will move all that from the headcanon, and I will patiently await, because Insomniac hasn't done me wrong. Yeah, sometimes they're made to go too quickly, and as such, they make some mistakes, this and that. Spider-Man 2, I agree with you, right? Sometimes it seems like they're pushing a little too hard in one direction versus another, but in general, they do not make bad games. So if they're ready to show it, I am ready to see it. I'm effing excited. That's me.
Yeah.